Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back through daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about HBAR or Hedera hash graph. As you guys already know, one of my favorite assets, my top #1 holding still. I think that this is such a great asset in the long term and even short term visionary standpoints. And yeah, let's jump in and let's really kind of talk about this. But before we fully jump in, I just want to remind you guys, if you guys haven't already, definitely hit that subscribe, turn notifications on, and also like this video, as it does help the channel grow immensely, and I do greatly appreciate it. So let's jump into it. Let's first off address what's happened in the market. So we are up about 1.19%, sitting at about a $2.63 trillion market cap. We do see Bitcoin kind of ranging around the $63,000 level. From my video just recently, I said we need to really kind of target and address the $63,000 resistance level. Hopefully Bitcoin can really kind of break out of it and really kind of go to the topping point. That's what we really want to watch for right now. And a lot of altcoins are making their ways throughout the market, and so is our lovely friend Hedera hash graph, up 10.47%. That just jumped a little bit more on the 7-day span. We are almost breaking the 40 centile range, up about 3.70%. Now, in terms of this, we're not seeing too much volume on the 24-hour. In fact, we are actually seeing the trade volume down about 27%. But we are going to be addressing the chart just a little bit, not too much. I don't want to go too in depth on it, but we are going to be talking about it and addressing it for a little while. So let's jump into the juicy news. So first and foremost, I said the pressure on HBAR's chart is tightening day by day. We are about to see a diamond shine. And if you guys didn't get the reference, essentially, you know, diamonds are made from pressure. So when we're talking about what's happening on the HBAR chart, first off, the RSI looks extremely beautiful. I love to see the strong, you know, pretty much reversal off of the 50 level. Now, in terms of this, I don't have the HBAR Bitcoin price chart opened up. I should have. I apologize for not being prepared, but it is what it is. We're actually going to check out the HBAR Bitcoin pair. So in regards to this, right? Again, the RSI was severely oversold in my opinion, down to almost 30 back on the 11th. Now, in terms of this, we look like we are having that strong reversal that I said before. Now, I do want to see the 638 level broken, and I do want to see it held. Our eyes are on 679, as we do see this being strong resistance going all the way back as far as October 14th, which was only roughly 12 days ago. So when we're talking about this, you know, this isn't too long ago, but we need to break this point. We actually need to hold above it and target the 750 sat level. This is where I personally want to see this Bitcoin price pair. I don't know why I said price pair, but this pair back to, because this allows for a lot higher prices. Maybe that's why I was thinking prices. I don't know. But anyways, we are hitting some resistance at around the 40 cents range. Again, this is a lot of resistance points here, right? We go all the way back to October 20th, 6 days ago, and we even go back as far as the 6th, the 7th, or the 5th, and the 4th. So these are some major resistance points that we are at currently. I do want to see them getting broken and held, and I actually want to see a flip support level. Now, in terms of the beautiful price range that we want to be back in, that is this level here. Or actually, it's up here. Sorry, I thought this was 46 cents for a second. But this is where we want to see. We want to break above the 46 centile range, which is the past all-time high. Anything below this isn't too crazy to me. And I think when we get back into this point on the Bitcoin pair is where we will see this. I do have this nice green spot up here, which, you know, it's a figurative level where we will see, first off, a lot of strength on the Bitcoin pair, and also a lot of strength on the USD pair. This is, honestly speaking, if we get to this level, we will most likely be above 60 cents. We will probably be targeting about 70 cents plus, possibly even $1 plus. So I'm watching this fairly closely, and if you guys haven't seen already, when you look at this on a zoomed out scale, first off, let's go to the weekly chart. Beautiful cup and handle one, but also let's remove everything off of the chart. Let's actually remove the RSI, and let's get rid of the volume. So when we're talking about what I was saying in terms of it getting tightened, in terms of getting that, you know, a lot of pressure on it, that's that sideways momentum that we're in. Even on the daily, you could see that sideways momentum, and it has been building for a long time. If we actually look at this and go to the date range, and here's where all of that stuff pops back up, but we do see this in a 40-day consolidation point. Could this, you know, pretty much range a little bit longer? Sure. I personally just want to see us break out of the 46-cent range. That is the main target point. Could we be seeing that anytime soon? 100%. It could happen tomorrow. It could happen any day. That's why we just watch for that validation on these price charts, and really kind of watch in terms of the Bitcoin price chart as well, because we are at significant resistance. But I think that this has a lot of strength left in it from the RSI still being under 50. So just to clarify, that's essentially what I meant by this tweet. Seen it all day today. So with that being said, let's move on. So we do see here so much noise in crypto, and HBAR signal is hard to pick up many. That signal is going to get amplified 1000x very soon, and noise will not be relevant anymore. Now, just so you guys know, this is not 1000x in terms of price at all. This is just the idea that, you know, it's going to be 1000x in terms of people, you know, talking about HBAR, you know, discussing HBAR, saying, wow, I can't believe, look at it breaking out. And that's where, you know, we will see, you know, we will see this tweet unfold once we break above this point up here and this point here in terms of getting to this nice green spot. Which again, when we're talking about this, we are rejecting resistance yet again, so we have to watch that resistance being broken. Now, we also see here Hedera Hashgraph have allocated or allocated over 20% of the entire HBAR supply to accelerate ecosystem development and adoption. Half of those 10.7 billion HBARs worth $2 million, or no, $2 billion, wow. At today's USD spot price will be deployed by the independent HBAR Foundation. 2022 going to be wild HBAR bearings. Now, I know a lot of people are kind of worried about this. They're saying, you know, wouldn't we be in the bear market at this point? And that is a concern. I'm watching for that. In terms of where we really kind of, you know, progress in price, that's where we pretty much will analyze if we did top out on a lot of these assets. You know, we are watching Bitcoin closely. I've already discussed that because that's where we will see the topping point for Bitcoin, and then that's where we most likely will see a lot of topping points for, you know, altcoins as well. So we're watching a lot of this, but I do think that 2022 is fairly big for HBAR, as we do see, you know, staking and stuff like that happening as we do range forward on in time. I'm more so excited for shorting and stuff like that. I don't know when that's going to be happening, but I believe it is somewhere in the 2022 deadline point. So we really kind of watch, we're going to watch for a lot of things happening with that. We also know that HBAR is the largest in terms of the growth fund, so I think that that's great to see as well, because we are really kind of ahead of the game in terms of Binance and all those other, you know, assets out there. So I'm very excited for the future for HBAR, but I didn't have to tell you guys that. You probably already know that. Now we do see here HEX Trust adopts a fully licensed approach and has a range of banking sector clients across Asia and Europe, providing the link that connects the traditional financial world to digital assets ecosystem. So I've discussed how huge this HEX Trust partnership is, but it continues to grow and grow and grow in terms of how massive it actually gets, right? We see this around the world right now with, you know, links to DLTs and links to many other digital assets. Banks are adopting crypto. These financial institutions are adopting crypto. They see the value behind it. Listen, if I was a company and I said, hey, what is something that I could utilize to, one, foster into a new age of technology, but also innovate with, that could allow me to scale my business at a much lower cost, you know, in terms of that, than anything else. And all of a sudden, the answer is crypto. What do you think I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be adopting it. I'm going to be utilizing it on a day-to-day basis. That is exactly what is happening right now. So when we're talking about a lot of things in the digital asset space, you know, we're seeing mass adoption happening throughout the banking and also the financial institution sector, and I'm very, very excited for that. We also see here Hedera Hashgraph solves this. Now, if you guys, you know, missed this tweet, because, you know, a lot of people probably did, this is extreme couponers were sent to prison in a $31.8 million fraud scheme. Now, these companies that are losing that type of money, right, these major grocery stores or whatever sort of, you know, place that's getting these coupons ran through it, that is a concern, because those are big named companies that don't want to lose money, right? When they lose money, sure, they could write it off in taxes, and, you know, it kind of saves them a buck or two in terms of paying back those taxes. But we also see a lot of financial loss in terms of, you know, coupon fraud. And of course, when we're talking about HBAR with the Coupon Bureau, 100% solves this. And I think that that is why it's such a big, use case. A lot of people think, yeah, it's just coupons, but it's really so much bigger than that. First off, a lot of people are trying to save money on a day-to-day basis, especially when they do go grocery shopping or shopping in general. I know that I'm starting Christmas shopping right now, and I'm always trying to save $1 or $2. And when we're talking about that, that's the big key here, is just saving money in terms of anything. And when we're talking about digital coupons, I think that that is such a revolutionary, game-changing use case. We even look at assets, or I shouldn't say assets, but extensions and apps like Honey. A lot of people use Honey on a day-to-day basis to save for any sort of purchase. And it is a huge use case, and a lot of people value it, and a lot of people utilize it on a day-to-day basis. So I think that that will allow for the ecosystem at Hedera to really kind of grow and foster into a new age of adoption through retail use cases instead of the banking and financial institution spot. But again, it is what it is. Now let's move on to this. So I've discussed the Chainlink integration with HBAR fairly, I would say quite a bit, right? Because I've discussed it, I think, on 3 occasions, I'm pretty sure. So it's not too much, but still, when we're talking about it, there's a lot of, and I don't mean this as a pun, but links to a lot of major companies and a lot of major, connections to these huge names like Amazon Web Services. We see Intel, Oracle, Google, Swift. These are major connections. The Chainlink ecosystem is huge, especially when we're talking about Hedera being, a governing council member with them. So, that integration works in many ways. In fact, I've discussed why the Chainlink integration is so huge. Chainlink is linked to a lot of other assets as well, and that ecosystem is huge at Chainlink. If you haven't looked at it, you can pretty much see them all here. It is massive. And I've always discussed that Chainlink is a very important asset to look at. Obviously, if you do want to buy it, I wouldn't buy it now. I would wait until the bear market possibly to really kind of scoop up a lot, because this has a bright future ahead of it. I don't know why this is loading so slow. Please bear with me. I know that my internet just came back on, but we do see here, this is a huge ecosystem. This is just a few of many in terms of the Chainlink ecosystem, but it goes on and on and on for days, and there is a lot of connections here. And that is only a few, right? Because that is only in 2021. There's a lot of other ones. We also see it by, you can filter it out in terms of energy, enterprise, education, all that kind of stuff. So there's a ton of ecosystemal projects or partnerships and collaborations with them. So I'm very excited for this because this is such a big connection, and we even see her so strong, building the future together, of course. And, we obviously know the statistics behind it. So I think Link is a great hold if you haven't, gotten into it yet. I would wait a little bit. I think ROI is better elsewhere, but I still think that Link is a very, very good asset. And I think that this confirms it, especially with how big this massive ecosystem is and, the big named individuals on that ecosystem, like I said, Amazon, Intel, Oracle, Google, and so forth. So I'm very excited to see a lot of this, unfold when we're talking about Link and we're talking about HBAR. A lot of those partnerships that are on the GC members that a lot of people don't really kind of talk about, they just want to see banks and, Microsoft and these big named individuals become a GC member. But, right now, what is on the GC is very, very good. It's very bullish. I don't need to tell you that. Just go look at it. IBM, Google, Link, like I said, we even see banks on there as well. So there's a lot of huge names, and I think a lot of people are kind of getting greedy and they want more and more and more. Like, what's next? What's next? Is Microsoft next? Is Apple next? Who really cares, right? Listen, because they're building so many great things behind closed doors that a lot of people are kind of underwhelmed by. Like, for example, like this is such a huge use case, but nobody's really kind of talking about it because it's just coupons to some people. But to me, realistically, this is solving multi-million-dollar problems for these huge corporations that will pay top dollar for this sort of technology. So there's huge connections going on behind closed doors. It might not be the biggest connections that a lot of people want, like, hey, look at they're working with every single bank in the world, blah blah blah. Like, it might not be that, but it's still huge innovation and huge partnerships that are still happening on a day-to-day basis, and these projects are being built on a day-to-day basis as well. Innovation, adoption, and all that is working perfectly to be a massive catalyst event. And when we're talking about a huge catalyst event, where could we lead to in price? Honestly, the sky's the limit. I've always said $3 to $6 conservative, with higher targets being, $10 to $15 if we do get there. Of course, we would need Bitcoin's help. I don't know if we're going to get too much help from Bitcoin, but I'm still dead set on the $3 to $6 range. I will continue to keep this on the price chart for you guys. This is essentially my target point. Anything in here is acceptable to me. Anything below $3, and I feel like I've missed out on some major profits. But, it's not like the HBAR is my only hold. It's just my number one hold. I have a ton of other assets as well. I'm in good profit right now on HBAR still from my entry point. So I'm still fairly happy with this asset. I just want to see a lot more price appreciation, and we will get that. I'm very patient with this asset, and we are going to see a major breaking point very soon, because honestly, with every single thing that we've seen in terms of price analysis on this, let's remove everything real quick and kind of look at this. So first off, every single low that we've made since September. So here was the main first low that we made. This was our lowest point. From here, every single low was a higher low. Here's a higher low in terms of support. Again, every single time that we've made a lower price point, it was always a higher low. Every single time. So we are in still a nice upward momentum price action on HBAR, and I think that this is going to continue until we do get that nice breakout point. Now that will probably follow through once we do see this major resistance level being broke and held as support. So with that being said, I hope that clarifies my overall viewpoints on the price point targets for HBAR, as well as what I personally see happening and the main focus points that I'm watching for on HBAR. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, to notifications on. If you guys do want more free content, you guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, if you guys do want other content like my personal exit strategies and all that kind of stuff, you guys can check out NCashOfficial.com. But with that being said, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.